Hi everyone, welcome to the Bolt Action Goods YouTube channel. This is my first official video and I'm really excited to share a little bit more behind the scenes with you through my quilting journey. So quilting has always been something very important, like a pastime shared through many generations in my family. I remember going and visiting my great-grandma. Her name was Grandma Carpenter on the weekends, and thankfully, my mom and grandma and great grandma would allow me to explore through her little basket of scraps, and I would be able to sew those scraps together. And I remember that they would kind of like let me hang out in the sewing room, and I'd hear them holler down the hallway saying, "You need to slow down, you're going to run over your fingers." And it's kind of funny looking back that they had to tell me to slow down even then, because I absolutely love quilting and what it provides. And so, in a sense, I'm almost always quilting. I think it's really important to sew a little bit every day, but also give myself a break if needed. Some days you're just not feeling it. So, really use those days when you feel inspired and make the most of it. So, even though I kind of grew up around a couple generations of quilting, I kind of got away from it, really focused on school and other activities. I was really a big participant in 4 H and I really focused on shooting sports there. So it's a little funny that I never really explored quilting through 4 H because that's a really big introduction for so many people. And so that's kind of where you get the name Bolt Action Goods because it combines that love of shooting sports as well as sewing because, of course, there's bolt action rifles and fabric, of course, comes on bolts. So when that idea hit me a few years back, I was like, okay, I really need to move forward with this. It's true to who I am, and that's going to represent me well. I really consider my first quilt to be what I call the trash can quilt. So my grandma Nancy had been to an auction earlier in the day, and she knew that I'd been looking for a Singer featherweight sewing machine. I mean, they're highly sought out. They cost up to thousands of dollars if you get them in the right condition or even different colors. And I really just wanted one. She saw one at the sale and believed that someone didn't realize what they had and threw it in the dumpster. So she told me about it. And of course, the sale had long been closed that day. And we drove back that night in the dark and decided that we were going to go dumpster diving. So I remember there's one other man that showed up and was like, "What are you all doing?" But he was like, "You know what? These two ladies seem pretty cool. I'm going to help them." So we're all three, me, my grandma, and this random guy, digging through the dumpster looking for this featherweight machine. We took off this little, it was like a foot of a table, and started digging around, trying to go layer by layer, trying to find that. Unfortunately, we never came across the machine. I think someone else realized what it was and got it to it faster than we did, but I did find a trash bag full of these fabrics. And of course, they were a little dingy, a little grungy, a little dirty, but I knew the worth in the fabric. And so I convinced my grandma to take them home. We washed them and I pieced that into my first quilt. It sat in a box for years waiting to be quilted, and I finally took it to the quilter. It was the same gentleman who did the quilting services for my great grandma Carpenter. And so it was really special for me to have that connection that he sewed both of our quilts and helped finish those. So I'll have more to share with that later on and how I inspired my mom to also quilt. I think that's probably going to be a video here in the future. I want to sit down with her and talk about how I inspired her to quilt because normally it's passed down generation to generation. But in our family, it kind of skipped a generation. Like my mom had helped with cutting, that sort of thing, but never really like made her own quilt. So I was like, I challenged her. Now we have three active generations quilting. So that's very like important to me. It's a really neat legacy to have all of us able to come together and sew, but even when we're not together, we can talk about it and share that hobby. So I really consider 2022 to be the year that I truly dove back into quilting and said, this is going to be my hobby. This is what I'm going to invest my time in. And I think that it's so powerful because one, it's a creative outlet for me. If I'm not feeling like making my own design, I can just jump in and make a pattern that someone else has already created, and just have fun choosing the fabrics. At the same time, I can also go and make my own design and have fun with the fabrics as well. So there's truly no limit in quilting, and that's what I love. And in a way, it's kind of a challenge because I feel like I need to sew faster because I'm running out of time. That I have so many ideas and things that I want to do that I'm never going to fully have the time to get all those ideas executed and brought to life. I started out really sewing on a Brothers sewing machine, you know, just a simple one bought at Walmart. No joke, I left it in the trunk of my car during college because I wanted to have it at a moment's notice if I really wanted to just bring out my sewing machine and sew at any time, whether I was at the dorm, at my apartment, visiting my parents, visiting friends. I kept it in my trunk and it rode around for years and was very reliable. And then when I really took that step forward in 2022, I had been looking for a machine to upgrade to really become more reliable, sew through heavier fabrics, offer a few more stitches, that sort of thing. So my boyfriend surprised me actually a month before my birthday of that year because he knew that I was diligently looking for one and that if he didn't just jump in and buy me one, I was going to buy it for myself sometime. So he surprised me. And it was a Janome 3160. I still sew on that, and I've made over 80 tops with it since 2022. And yes, I say tops because I absolutely love cutting and piecing. However, where I struggle is quilting. So I did get a long arm last year. I'm still gaining confidence with it, and I also do some hand quilting, and then I also outsource some of it too. So you can see a variety on this channel of different ways that you can finish those quilts. So like I said, it's a way that I relax. It's a way that I, unwind after a long day. If I'm stressed, I can, just go and kind of tune out and just focus on those stitches and focus on that process of quilting. But to me, it's also a way to show love and really mark some milestones. So whether it's buying a house, someone getting married, someone having a baby, someone having a significant milestone birthday, I absolutely love giving quilts. And of course, I make enough in a year's time that it's I'm almost looking for reasons to share quilts and give them away. But I want to give them away to the people that, truly know the time and, the investment that a quilt has. I think that's something that a lot of people don't necessarily see. And so that's another thing that it's showing these behind the scenes maybe will help people see more of what goes into a quilt. So this channel, I hope that in time it grows, but even if it's just one or two people that come here and find inspiration and comfort in watching my videos and feel like we're a friend, connecting through the screen, that would truly make me happy. In the future, I'm hoping to share some tutorials of my quilt patterns. So this one behind me is elevated. I just launched it a few weeks ago on my website. So there will be some more information on that as well. So tutorials for those patterns, share my sewing projects, like what I'm working on, what inspires me, and then just also share some sewing stories. Like I said, I want to sit down with my family members, talk to them about what sewing means to them, what memories they remember from past generations, and just really get that recorded, and share some of the places I love exploring that inspire me for quilting. So there's honestly no limit to what can be shared here, but it's all going to be centered around quilting and sewing and projects of that sort. So I'm really excited for the start of this channel, and thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you in the next episode.